am on time today. I've been up for a while. Bonjour. Check my volume. Oh, we're good. Happy Sunday. FIFA day. Ooh, I'm so excited for the game. Apparently I missed out on a game that they had between France and England. I didn't know about the third place. So I guess England got it. Beat France 6-4. They must have been having fun to score that many goals, right? Now, you know, if you drink milk here and you're in Panama, this La Chiricana is a really good brand. I've tried some other ones, even though I don't drink milk on a regular, but sometimes I'll say, oh, if I'm making oats or oatmeal or something like that once in a while. But that Chiricana, that is a good brand. So I'm having some coffee this morning. It's okay to have a nice cup of coffee. And you know, I have a frother, and I've used it a couple of times, but I just don't like what it does to the consistency of my coffee. So it's been sitting here. It's just like when I drink coffee, I'll order coffee somewhere. Usually that happens in the States. They'll say, what flavor? And I'm like, plain. I do not. Hola, buenos dias, Greta. I don't like flavored coffee. Hazelnut is something I just cannot stand the taste or the smell. And they'll have, some people, don't they have mushroom coffee now? It's like, I just want a plain coffee. When I was, before, I used to do just Colombian, 100% Colombian. But now I'm like, Panameño coffee, Café Panameño. We got the coffee. We make really good coffee here. So I have no need to try anybody else's. Let's see, where are we? Yesterday we were on for almost 3 hours, you guys. I'm like, oh my God, Maggie, you can just chop. But it was packed with information that I hope that you found useful. And of course, every time I do a live, we end up spending a lot of time talking about healthcare because it's such a thing here for people my age, right? And then I had a sister yesterday send me something late about emergency preparedness with everything that's happening around the world and the warning from the embassies. And I'm like, I don't know what else I can do to keep myself safe. I stay out of trouble. I'm not in the streets as much as I used to be. And listen, you have to have somewhat of fatalistic attitude about the whole thing. What I need to do is to make sure I have some cash on hand. I don't have that here, and I need to do that. But you have your emergency bag, emergency information. You know, some people rule the world, and they decide if we have peace or we are at war. I as a little speck, doesn't have anything to do with it. We just pay the consequences of everything that's happening. That's all. And again, I talk about keeping yourself hopeful, nurturing a peaceful life or a peaceful mindset is easier said than done. But this is something that you constantly have to work on to protect your peace, right? Not to dwell on things that you cannot control, and to take care of yourself physically, mentally, meditate, sing, dance, cook, whatever you need to do. Talk to your loved one and, hug people, say a lot of I love yous. Don't wait for things to happen and say, oh, I wish I had said this. No, don't do that. All right? I don't know what else to tell you, right? Because I'm just trying to do what I can. All right. So today we are making veggie burgers. And when I say veggie burgers, it's usually more beans than veggies. So I cooked black beans last night. You know, when I knew I was gonna do black beans, I was like, oh my god, let me try it. Let me start early, right? Because I knew how long those black beans took. But this one cooked in about an hour, and then I realized maybe it's the brand. So Camellia, which is a very popular brand, is the one that I bought this last time. So I'm gonna be able to zero in for that brand next time, so I don't get into the 5 hour cooking disaster that we had. All right. So I'm using 3 kind of beans. I have the black beans that are cooked. I cooked yesterday. And you might say how much? I did half the pack. So they're nicely cooked, you know, with the bay leaves. So they're ready. Let me take the bay leaves out. They've served their purpose. And last night I soaked chickpeas. When you soak the chickpeas, they plump up, which is what I want when I'm making hummus or if I'm making a curry. And then this morning, I put them on the stove, 15-20 minutes, they are done, right? Because it's really hard for you to overcook chickpeas, and I don't want them to be overcooked because I've seen people pulse their beans in the blender. I don't do that. I use a masher. I use a masher because I don't want it to be too, you know, the consistency to be too smooth. So we have that. And I'm gonna now cook some lentils, right? I have some red lentil, even though it's not red, but that's what they call it. So that's gonna be our 3-bean burger. All right, and those cook really fast. So let me see how much I got. Yeah, that's this much is fine. Now in the burgers, I'm gonna put some. I cooked some bell peppers, all colors, and you chop them, and then you put them in there with onions, peppers. I have some zucchini, maybe I'll add that, but instead of cooking on the stove, I'm gonna put them in the oven. And then I always have oats in my my burgers. And then I just grab these, and it says con canela. That means they have cinnamon. And there is no way, I don't think I need cinnamon flavor inside my burger. I think it would kind of compete with, so we're not using that. So I thought of an alternative, and I'll tell you. All right, let's put the lentils on because they're gonna cook really fast. And make sure you rinse your lentil really well because usually there's a lot of impurities that come out of the water. All right. Let me give my hand a good wash. So once you do the peppers, the onions, that's good. And then what you have to keep in mind is how you're going to bind everything so that you can form the patties. So consistency is the key, right? The beans are okay, but you know, I used to put like a couple of eggs or one egg, and you have the oats, but I don't have the oats today. So what I thought I would do, I have a little bit of white quinoa, and I have the cornmeal. So I'm gonna cook those and cook them a little bit pasty so that they kind of help with the consistency. And then I have some potatoes that I'm roasting in the oven. I did that. So they're in the oven right now because the potatoes, whether it's regular potatoes, sweet potatoes, or even squash, once you mash it, it's going to help with the binding. So you got to keep thinking about that, right? I have olives and capers. You could put mushrooms. And I have several packs of spinach. I'm going to slice some spinach. You could even put kale. Listen, you can do whatever you want because, good morning, Lori Lewis. Oh, good morning. ¿Cómo estás? Because, you know, this is your burger. You're trying to pack it with nutrients. So nobody can tell you, you can't put this, you can't put that. It's your food. You do whatever you want with it. You know I'm a rebel like that. So don't tell me what I can, what I can't do. All right. So I'm going to take... While the lentils are cooking, I'm going to borrow some of that ajo, garlic. I'm going to throw it in there. This is from the chickpeas. I always put garlic and bay leaves when I'm cooking my beans. Always. Alright? Because then everything is so flavorful. And then I save the water. So if I'm cooking grains or anything, I can add that. And I was thinking, I have not made my herb oil in a while. All right, so that's starting to boil. And let me see. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna transfer some of the beans into my my bowl that I'm gonna use for the mixing. So that I can, what? Where's the water? Where did you get water? Where did the water come from? No, that's weird. That is very odd. I think maybe it's because my my water thing was hitting the bucket. Yeah. My pot that I used to boil water, it kicked the bucket. So I'm gonna have to get another one. All right, so we're going to transfer some of the beans in here. And I'm gonna save some of the chickpeas because I'm making a cauliflower mash. And with the cauliflower mash, the recipe is called for like cream cheese and or sour cream. I don't have any of that in my house. So I'm going to use some of the chickpeas to help with the consistency. Hey, and then some coconut milk. Who says I can't? Yes, you can. You just have to use your creative juices to come up with something. All right, so we're gonna pour, taking the garlic shell off. Ouch. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and mash them because I want to be able to do that while they're warm, right? Very good. Bay leaves. Yeah. Remember when I made the doll with the red lentil? That was good. I looked around for a long time to find, what was it? Is it turmeric leaves? Yes. That was hard to find. All right, so I'm going to mash some of the chickpeas. You see, that's why you cook. Then you exercise your arm muscles. But if you don't want to do that, you can pulse it. Woo! Pulse it in a blender. How are you trying to get away? Liquid. All right. And now we're going to add the black beans. Again, you could pulse it if you want. But I'm mashing them because I want to do it while it's warm. Because after that, it's going to be a lot harder. The whole time you're working, you're thinking of burger consistency. Definitely the potatoes are going to help. Very good. Any more? Don't need any more liquid in this. All right. You want that consistency. You don't want it to be too mashed up because remember, you're thinking of, you're going to form these patties and the balls. Now, something that would be helpful to me would be to have had some, I have panko. I could use some panko, but also some plain breadcrumb is something that I try to always have in the house. But I think I used the last one that I had. Okay, so we're going to put this to the side. All right. Not yet. All right, so I'm going to rinse this, and then we're going to cook the quinoa and the cornmeal. But I'm using the bean water as my stock. Nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste in Maggie's kitchen. We recycle. Why not? You have to. All right. Hola, Auntie. Is it Auntie? Judith. Oh, good morning. Ah, so we're gonna use a little bit of the bean water. Looks kind of dark, like for black bean. And I think that should do it. Remember, we have some leftover chickpeas here. So now we're gonna cut our vegetables and I'm gonna put them in the oven. We have, I have a few small potatoes and I just wash them, put a little bit of oil and salt and pepper. That's it. Peppers. Zucchini. I see a carrot, so that's it. Nothing goes to waste. So I'm going to use half of the zucchini. The carrots. Only one carrot left. What I want to keep in mind too with my veggies, I'm going to cut them in juliennes, and then, because I'm thinking of how to decorate we're going to do the mash with the cauliflower, and then we're going to put the burgers, and then I was like, well, how do I decorate the top of the burgers, right? So I'm like, I'm going to save some of the peppers, kind of like a sofrito, to use on top. And then on the side, I'm going to do like a nice little fresh, nice salad. I have arugula, cherry tomatoes, what else? Cucumbers. Yeah. So a little fresh salad. I have an avocado. I was hoping it would be done, but it's not ready. So carrot in the veggie burger, yes. And I have it, look at it. It's like, use whatever you have and put it in there. Don't limit yourself. And do not allow anyone to tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. Yes, you can. So now you know it's going to be a bunless burger, right? Because not doing bread. Okay. This is good. Take it off. All right. All right. Our water for the quinoa is boiling. And really, I haven't put anything in it. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil. And a little bit of adobo. Salt and pepper. Quinoa. Maybe I'll just do the quinoa and nothing else. Yeah, let's just do just the quinoa. I have not used the cornmeal in my in my veggies. We're gonna leave it out. So remember, I'm just trying to replace the oats that I don't have. I'm trying to be creative here. Alright. These are my dressings. I'm putting in here so that it kind of melt. Alright. We need to get those the veggies in the oven. Alright, I think that's enough. The zucchini. The quinoa is going to look like I'm using the black mushroom that we use in my culture because it's going to be dark. Which is fine. Everything juliennes because you want your cuts to be about the same. Now for the peppers. And then we're gonna season them. You know, I was thinking, yeah, like I said earlier, I was thinking, I haven't made my herb oil in a while. Alright, oh, this is nice. You know, lentils are the easiest thing for you to cook, and they are so good for you. If you want to eat healthy, plant-based, go ahead and add lentils. We'll do onions as well. We're going to use all the peppers because that's important inside the burger. Alright, so small julienne cuts. Then we're going to add some onions as well. You know, when they talk about the Holy Trinity, it's onion, celery, and carrots, right? So we already have the two, but celery is not something I like to cook with. It's good in soups and stews, but I don't like it in anything else. It's just the texture doesn't lend itself to me to a lot of things. When you buy a fresh celery here, I mean, it's like bush and it's green, it's just lovely, but you gotta eat it fast because the leaves go pretty soon, pretty fast. All right, we're gonna do the onion. We go by half. Now I'm out of, I haven't been to the store. Where did I go this week? But I haven't gone to my stores, so I'm kind of running low on my herbs. I have a few twigs of dry rosemary. My thyme has all dried up, so I threw it away. So we're gonna do what we can. All right, this is the quinoa. It's getting ready for, I don't know what that beep is. You guys, you know, I always say that. I don't know what it is. All right, let me see. To the top, yeah. Now we're gonna steam it while it's kind of still wet because I am trying to get the consistency not to be grainy. Remember that, okay? Save the seed to grow more peppers. Oh, all right. You know what I did the other day? What did I have? The soursop. I put some leaves in a pot just to see if anything was to happen. Of course, nothing happened. I am not a good plant mom. You know, if I had land, I definitely would learn gardening. Oh, yes. We're doing julienne. I almost cut them in dices. I forgot. somebody was showing how to grow garlic. You know how much I love garlic? I was like, oh, yes, sign me up. Alright, entonces, we are ready for our, ooh, look at this, isn't that pretty? You know, I get excited when I see a veggie medley like that. I think I'm going to cover it and steam it and hope that it will cook faster. That's a little sesame oil. I love sesame oil. Ooh, it's just about done. Yes. Soy sauce now. I'm not crazy about sauce at all. It's just too salty. Now pepper, I'm crazy about. Alright, herbe de Provence. I've been guarding this thing with my life because I love it so much. I don't know who introduced me to this. Herbe de Provence. It's like, ooh. Adobo. I go to a lot of adobo. And paprika. I go to a lot of paprika. But of course, when you buy this big old thing, it lasts you a while. So that's good. Paprika, ooh, yes. And cumin, yes. Comino. Or maybe not cover it. Just turn the heat up. Curry, and just a little bit. A little bit of curry powder. It's not gonna hurt anything. And of course, it's for me. I like a little kick in my food. And of course, I told you I discovered ground allspice. I love this stuff. The next thing I'm looking for is 5 Chinese 5 spices. So this is a little red pepper flakes. Remember, I like a little heat. Nice. Ooh. And some sriracha. ¿Por qué no? Un poquitito. Alright. For you all these cooks who like to wear gloves with everything, I'm not one of those cooks, okay? Look at this. Oh, I could just eat it. Okay. Let me see what the potatoes are. If the potatoes were done, that would be perfecto. A ver. Ooh, they are done. Ooh. Our potatoes are done. So, put that there. Food heat. So they're gonna cook fast. Muy bien. Alright. So we have our potatoes are done. That's good. Well, now I'm gonna have to put them in the fridge so they can cool off before I can peel them. Because before I can handle them. Okay? Now see, if you roast your potatoes like that, you could just peel them up, mash them roughly, and then have them with whatever you want. Could be a salad. Did you say ground allspice? Yes. I have the seeds. That's usually how I used to have it, and I would have had to grind it myself. But this is ground allspice. I'm like, ooh. Let me have. Yes. Okay. I found a little space and I squeezed the potatoes in the freezer. All right. That can go in there. Let's bring our lentils here. All right, let's use this. This is where the oats helps you. It kind of tightens everything up, so you got to be sure you don't put too much liquid in this burger. All right. Let us strain the rest of it and let it drain because I don't want the liquid. And the liquid is here on the side. When I start to form the burgers, if I need more liquid, I can add. But it's a lot easier to add a little liquid than if it's too soft and you're trying to figure out how you tighten it up, especially when I don't have breadcrumbs and I don't have oats. All right? That's what happened. But I think I'm okay. Looking at the consistency, I'm okay. Because I'm going to be adding the quinoa. And sometimes I even add, if I'm really in a bind, I even add a little bit of, if you have almond flour or something like that, you could put it in there. All right? So let's squeeze the water out. Don't need the liquid. Muy bien. Woo. Yes. Okay. Perfecto. Let's see what else I need to do. We have to cook the cauliflower. Got to stay on task. So I have a little bit of that garlic that's gonna go in there. Okay. So this all by itself is a healthy mix right here. Okay? Play with your food. Alright, let's clean this pot. We're gonna cook the cauliflowers in here. Remember, we're doing a mash because we don't have a burger patty. So we're doing something that we can serve with our burger. And you can be as creative as you want. If you want to cook some quinoa, some couscous, some bulgur, you know, any kind of grain that you would want, or just get a couple of brioche buns and, you know, hopefully you're not going to put mayonnaise, but you could use anything. Tomato, lettuce, just build. One thing I like to put on my burgers is caramelized onions. Ooh. Yes. Cauliflower, ¿dónde estás? Oh, we're gonna put some spinach. We're gonna put that on the stove because we want that to be nice and green. And we have capers and, oh yeah, capers and olives. We're definitely gonna add that to our mix. Right now, the duty at hand, the work at hand is to boil. And of course, it's not gonna take long. But I think it's a nice little head of cauliflower. This was $3.95. I was really happy to find it because they are not easy to find here in these Panama streets. And of course, I'm saving all these to make stock. All right. Okay. That's gonna go back in the fridge. And we're gonna throw that in some water with some garlic and bay leaves, and we make vegetable stock. And I also have some spinach stems also. Alright? So I'm gonna cut these a little bit small because I want them to cook a little faster. But not too small. Now I love cauliflower. You go to the store, you buy a bag of cauliflower rice. It's no less than $5, $6, which is about the same price you would pay in the States, I think. Even though it's white and I like my food to have color, but cauliflower is kind of a special vegetable. I like it a lot. I'd rather buy it fresh than buy the frozen. I don't like frozen stuff. But I buy frozen peas because there's no other way I'm gonna find it. But I prefer fresh, anything, any day. That's why I'm not a fan of canned food. But boy, I remember when I was a young mom, yeah, I used a lot of canned food. Teas. I didn't know any better. When I would make rice, I would say, well, yeah, buy a can of black beans. And my friends from the Caribbean are like, oh my gosh, they'd be scandalized. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking shortcuts. You know, family, work, school. But now that I don't have those pressures, there's no reason for me to all of it. Maybe after it's cooked, I'll leave a little bit for the salad. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. We're making a nice little side salad for our burgers because we're not eating bread. So, okay, bonito. Alright, let's rinse and cook. I'm sure you've all heard about the cyclospora outbreak. And there was something that came on my feed, was it today or yesterday? The different fruits that are most at risk of having that parasite. And I'm thinking we are okay over here, but you never know. Alright, so we need to cover this. So it will cook faster. And then so now we're going to add our potatoes in here. We're still building this burger mix. Potatoes. That's why I like to roast them, because the skin comes out so easy. It's still a little warm, but I can still handle it, so that's good. Can't ask for more. So good. Now the thing that I'm not eating, it's not that it's easy for me. I'm just trying to control myself, but I love starch. I really do. Listen, I'm Caribbean. You talk about plantains and yucca and yam. Listen, I grew up with this stuff. So now I'm getting old. I have to say, oh, I can't have that. That is not good. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Roasted potatoes are the best. And actually, potatoes are not bad for you. It's just like because some of us, as we get older, we have dysfunction with our metabolism, and we keep hanging on, and this thing turns, it stores in our liver, and our blood sugars go up. Ooh. So good. Ooh. Oh. Well, that's hot. You see the steam, right? And that's the thing. When you're a cook, you're just not afraid of heat, of getting burned, of getting cut. It's part of the process. You know, the chef used to tell us, oh, don't worry about it. It's not if you're going to get cut. It's when you're going to get cut. So your job is to try to minimize how often you get cut. But you will get cut. Alright. So, oh, we got to do the spinach really quick. Alright. So we have this. Get the masher. Now this is our binder. These potatoes are gonna save us. Gonna bring everything together. Que bonito, mira. Mira, mira, mira. Just throw it in there. Ooh, yes. Wow. Precioso. Alright. Alright. Let's get the spinach. Vamos. Okay. Okay. So, now I told you I bought a bunch of different packs of spinach. So now we're just gonna, because the spinach comes in this really harsh, you know, with the stem here in Panama, even though you could buy the one that is pre-washed, pre-packaged, and this is where the cyclospora might get you. So I prefer, and you know, with the cyclospora, they say even if you rinse it, it may not take away. Yes, you cannot take away the parasite. It's heat that's gonna kill it. So that's why, you know, I'd rather steam my vegetables, and that's also the reason I could not be a raw vegan, because things hide in these vegetables. I'm not eating them raw like that. So I'd rather steam, and that's why I don't juice either. You know, my beets, I roast them. I believe in the power of heat to kill stuff. So I'm not gonna take things from the earth and just, you know, like tomatoes, I soak them in vinegar and baking soda. I do the same with apples and other fruits. And you gotta, you know, especially when you get older, let me tell you, when you are young, I keep saying that, you have reserves and your immune system is strong. But as you get older, you don't have that level of protection. So that's why you have to be even more careful what you put in your body. Don't get caught up in the fad, you know, everything just raw veggies and you juicing. And I'm like, well, what happened to the pulp, which is where you get all your fiber, and you're going to throw it away? That's why I'm not a fan of juicing. I do not juice. I'd rather buy that frozen stuff, or after I clean my mangoes or whatever, I'll throw it in the blender. But, you know, just raw veggies and stuff like that, nope, not me. All right, I think will be done after these two. We're gonna chop them, really put them under, I'm gonna cut them really small because again, they're gonna have to, and usually you don't hear spinach in burger. This is my version, and I'm doing it because I have it here. You know, you're not gonna see that in a recipe, right? But if I am trying to be healthy and add nutrients, and spinach is one of the best food that you can eat. So I'm gonna add it to my food. Why not? Alright, so I have another pack. So that's good. More for me to eat. And I have kale, and I have arugula. Alright? This is my veggie, when I do my veggie broth stock. So I save those. Alright, I have cilantro. I'm gonna chop some of that. Okay, this is boiling. This is done. The quinoa. Oh, it's still a little bit grainy, but okay. We'll work with it. Maybe not use all of it. Quinoa is done. Let's see. I love quinoa now. That's a weakness. So good. All right. Ooh, it's yummy. We'll put some, and then we'll save the rest. If we need to, we'll add it. Oh, it's so good. Whew. Now that is going to be a challenge for me. So I'm going to move this over here, the cauliflower, let it continue to cook. We're going to rinse this. We are going to saute the spinach right in here. Poquito de aceite de olivo. Okay. And then we're going to get ready to chop in some olives and some capers. We're going to throw in there. So we're going to be looking for some acid, and then we're going to, work with the taste. And we need to add our veggies. So yes, I would have the music blaring by now, but you too, if you blare somebody's music right now, it's gonna say, we're gonna take your video down because you're using somebody's music. Alright, and with this, we're just gonna put a little bit of salt, pepper. Now, I want the color, right? I think a little piece of that spinach in the burger is gonna look really good, especially when you put it on top of that cauliflower mash. So salt, pepper. And a little bit of adobo, and a little bit of lime juice. That's all you need. Whenever you are cooking spinach, always add a little acid. You just add something to it, okay? You roll your lime so you can squeeze the juice out easier. And spinach doesn't need a lot of time. As soon as it glistens and it's all green, it's good to go. You do not need to cook it too long. Ooh, now you see this? You just put it on the side with some eggs or your protein, and you're good. Look at that. Beautiful. Now the pan, I'm going to need to do the patties. So I'm going to get another pan. I use this pan so much. I want to get one that's smaller, so when I cook egg, I can just flip them. This one is just so big. And then I'm going to get one that is aluminum. I see them. They're a little pricey, but that's okay. Alright, so we're good. We're going to let it cool for a little bit. Bring our cauliflower back. And let us check. Almost. Almost. Alright. Now, we can do... It gets heavy. You know, I know this is the rest of this, and I know I'm going to need some acid, so I'm going to squeeze it in here before I throw it away. You know, I'm a very, I don't want to say savvy, but I like to save things when I cook. That's why I reuse stuff. I don't throw things away. I find a way to reuse stuff, okay? So now we're going to do... Now these are peated with, they're stuffed with pimiento. Actually, I like to use the black olives with my burgers, but I don't have black. Black olives are super expensive here. Not super, but ooh. We have a runaway. But the black was more expensive. I'm like, yeah, let me get these. You know, I like to save my pennies. Of course. And of course, you put that in anything that you're mixing. It's going to help with the taste. I love olives. Aceituna, that's what they call it. Aceite is oil. And then tuna, I thought tuna was a fish, but I say tuna, that's how you say olives. I say tuna negro, black olives. Oh, this is so nice. Ooh, I can't wait for the game. Woo. I don't have wings or anything to eat, but I'll be snacking on burgers. The game's at 2. I think they're already starting to talk about the game right now. There's so much, you know, energy, and people are so ready for this. All right, capers, another great condiment here in Panama. Anything that you would find a lot in Spain, you will find here. So I'm going to turn the oven off. Let it steam for a little bit, and then I'm going to bring them back. Now you see how much work it takes to make your burgers? But you know, when I'm finished here, I'm going to use little baggies, and I'm going to put them 2 at a time and throw them in the freezer. So now, I'm going to be good for a few days. Of course, I don't want to eat it all the time. I would be introducing too many beans in my body, and my body doesn't do too well with too many beans at one time. I have to space it out. Growing old is no fun, y'all. Your body changes on you. But you better pay attention or you're going to suffer. Who wants to be running to the bathroom like that? That's a no bueno. Alright. Alright. So here we are. I need a mixing spoon. Let's throw in the spinach, not the liquid. Not the liquid. I might need to squeeze that into the strainer just to make sure we're not adding more liquid than we need to. See, you gotta think. Otherwise, you're gonna have a soggy burger. That's a no bueno. Squeeze. And everything goes in that water that I'm gonna save. Sometimes I just put them in a jar and then I freeze them. And when I'm cooking quinoa or whatever, I use that. Of course. Don't waste anything. Ooh. That is amazing. But I will add some panko just to add a little graininess. I still have some leftover quinoa. But, you know, I don't want to keep the quinoa here, otherwise I'm going to be eating it. Ooh, so good. So good. We haven't added our veggies yet. But the veggies are going to just take it home. So see, I can look at it if I say, okay, I'm trying to see how I'm going to do my patties. And you see, my consistency is perfecto. See. Have it. We need to work on it a little bit. Alright. Let's bring the veggies out. No. Ooh. Yes. So now, I said I was going to save some veggies to decorate for the top of my burgers, okay? So I'm going to put that on the side until I'm ready for it. Oh, the curry. I can smell the curry. Ooh. Oh, so nice. I don't think I want the carrots on top. We're not going to do the carrots. The peppers and onions only to decorate. Right? Okay. And so now we're going to put our veggie right here and we're going to chop it. It has to be chopped. Right? Or if you prefer, you could do this on the stove. I prefer the taste of roasted veggies. Okay, I think I'm going to turn the heat off. Ooh, look at that. I'm telling you, roasted veggies taste better than sauteed. So be lazy and just throw them in the oven. Okay? Thank me later. All right. Whew. Excelente. Wow. I love my life. I love cooking. I am in my happy place. Yes, ma'am. Wow. Nice. Oh, qué bonito eres. All right. Ooh-wee. Okay. Wow, 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 wow. Yes. Whoa. All right. Ooh. All right. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm going to throw the chickpeas in with the cauliflower so that they can warm up again. And when I put them in the oven, they're all going to be nice and ready. You got your plate of the way. All right. Now look at this, you guys. So if you take time and create something like this, and you know I'm going to have quite a bit of, quite a few, I should say, burgers, and then I also do balls, so that if I'm trying, if you wanted to do like, what we used to call that, the sandwich, that you would put, like meatball sandwich or sub, if you want to do a sub, you can do that if you eat bread, right? You have some brioche buns for your burgers, and buy some buns. You know, those, I don't know what to call those, to make, like you do the Philly cheesesteak kind of bread. All right, so I know I'm going to need to put some acid in here. Okay? Because remember, when you're trying to bring your taste home, acid is always a good thing. Yes. And fresh lime juice? Who can say no to that? Ugh. Nice. And I'm going to put some pepper. And that's a big pot. So it could use some salt and pepper. I'm going to put, not allspice this time. I'm going to put some adobo. Adobo has some salt, so you keep that in mind. Even though I may still need to add a little bit of salt, because we have not really. This is cumin. And this is paprika. All right. Cayenne, no. No cayenne. Just mix and mix. And I'm definitely going to add a little bit of panko. At this point, I would have put the plain breadcrumbs. But I don't have it. So we're going to make do and use something else. More acid. and more adobo. And a little bit of salt. Oh, I have oregano. I don't think I've used oregano yet. Yes, oregano. Oh, yes. That's why I like, oh, I'm missing something. This is dry thyme. I bet you once I finish mixing everything, it's going to be, okay, Maggie, you got it. And a little bit of salt. All right. I think something I have not put in this is probably garlic. Maybe that's what it's missing. Tastes pretty good. Okay. I think that's probably what I'm missing. Some garlic. When you know, you know. Because when I cook the veggies, I should have put some garlic in there. And that's why you taste your food. I remember when I was in school, we would do our dish and we would present it to the chef and he'd look at you and say, did you taste your food? And some people wouldn't. And it's like, go back and start over. These are the words you'd never want to hear from the chef. Start over. And you have a time. So if you have to start over, you're going to go behind. And that's an automatic fail for that class. You know, Shakira is making millions with these World Cup. And you know, it's funny, I remember her in Africa. This is the Africa, and she looks the same, like she has not aged at all. Must be nice when you're rich, you have money. But I would not want to have money and be walking down the street and have people follow me. I wouldn't want that. That's just too much. I'd rather be invisible. Alright, so we're going to, and then I have a little garlic thing I'm going to put on the mash. Alright. You know, I bought this little pan. It is just so amazing how it does not heat up fast. Even though it's aluminum, maybe the thickness. Come on. Alright, what it decides to do that, we're going to get ready to pulse our cauliflower. Alright. Cauliflower. Now, I have not seen a recipe with the cauliflower mash and chickpeas, so this is going to be my recipe, okay? I was gonna leave a little bit of the cauliflower for my salad, so I'm gonna put some of it to the side. But usually I like raw cauliflower, so that's not gonna work. Yeah, it needs to be raw. And this is cooked, so. Too bad, so sad. All right, let's pour and strain the rest. And of course we have, oh, I need to strain it in something that is not dark, because if I need a little bit, okay, that's good. Now you see, you don't want raw garlic, so you want it to cook. If I need to use a little bit of the liquid, I don't want to mix it in with my black bean water, because the cauliflower mash has to be pretty white. I tell you, you gotta think. Whatever you're doing. And then I'm gonna mix it, put a little bit of the liquid and some coconut milk. Yes. Salt, pepper, a little bit of acid, and we shall be good. Oh yeah. Now, it's a good thing that I have it now, so it can cool off just a bit before I'm able to pulse it. All right, so I think my garlic is ready. We're gonna bring our stuff back. Turn this off. Oh, it's already off. Another spoon. Thank God, I missed that. Alright, roasted garlic that I needed to add, that I missed adding. And I cannot not cook with garlic? That's unthinkable. Yes. Yum. Alright, a little bit of panko. It's another binder. Alright. Oh yes. Ooh. So nice. Okay. So I'm gonna give it one last taste to make sure everything is on point. Alright. Last taste. Greta, you need your plate over here, okay? Alright. Ooh. We're gonna start shaping those. Yep, and my dressings have warmed up. So good. You gotta know what you're looking for. Know your spices and things that you need to include. Of course, I'm not gonna do all the burgers, otherwise you guys are gonna be here for a while. So let's start shaping. Okay. Now in a restaurant, they would weigh. You know, it's like when you're making a burger. It was like if it was an 8-ounce burger, you had a scale. But we're not doing that here. We're just gonna eyeball, right? You could do that, and then you flatten it, and you turn it around, and of course you're always thinking, what do your patties, the size of your patties. But, with those of us who are experienced, you just go by feel, right? Yep. Aquí, I'm going to take that out. So I'll do 4, just to show you. And then I do 2 plates, we always do 2 plates, and then I'll do the rest while I'm waiting for the game. Look how pretty that is. Yes. South Africa. Waka waka Aquí estamos. Sí, sí, sí. Mira qué belleza. Right? Okay. Vamos. Africa. I don't know if I told you, I went to the doctor and had some lab work, and my lipids were really good. So, I don't have to worry if I put a little pat of butter. I know if you're vegan, you're going to be a bit perturbed, but I know I need some olive oil, extra virgin. Don't buy the regular olive oil because it's like the second or third press. Get the extra virgin, and you can always add, what is that? You can always add a little bit to your, you need a little bit of fat, okay? You need fat. I think I put a little too much oil. Too much, but, all right, so let's put these burgers on. Two, get my spatula, it's safer. 3, and 4. 4 burgers on the stove. So now, let us get the puree. I need leche de coco. Alright, we're looking at that. So I'm going to put a little bit of the water that it was cooked in. Poquitito. Instead of cream cheese and sour cream, I'm using a little bit of coconut milk to thin it out. Alright. I'm going to put, now see, this is where I need like white pepper. I don't have white. I need to put it on my list. And cumin. And not allspice. Not paprika, because it's going to mess up the color. Okay. And then a little bit of acid. Poquitito. I did put some salt in the water to boil it, so I'm not adding any salt. So we're going to cream this up, and then we can adjust the consistency. Mmm. Mmm. It's good. Where is the spatula? Oh. Okay. Now this is where you have to be really careful because these patties are very delicate. Okay? No, that's too big. Too big. Okay? You gotta be careful. That's why you have to kind of measure your oil because it will suck it up. And I think I put a little bit too much. But if that's all the fat I'm having for the day, it's no biggie. Alright, let it cook some more. And I have the cauliflower cream. So we have the cauliflower. And let me tell you, it tastes really good. Wow. Yes. So, when you're trying to eat healthy and you're trying to come up with something different, go for it. Alright. So a quick little salad on the side. I have an avocado, but it's not ready. And you know, when you cut into an avocado when it's not ready, it's not a good thing. I feel like I'm committing a crime. Ooh, the arugula. You know, I told you I went to that place called Casa del Jamon. It was like $4.50 or $6.50, $6.95. But arugula tends to be a bit pricey, so that's not bad. Alright, we're gonna add some cherry tomatoes and a little bit of cucumber. Yeah, that'll be it. Just to kind of, it's like an amuse-bouche. So I had to, you know, clean my cucumber. All right, let's see. ¿Cómo estamos? Ooh, yes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. All right, don't you fall apart. There we go. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna turn the heat off. Little bit of cucumber. I always like to do striae of my cucumbers. I'll take some of the skin off, but not all of it. I like when it shows a little bit of green on the plate. We call those striae. That's a that's a medical term. And then of course you want to do really thin slices. I love cucumbers. Cucumbers, they're very high in water content and very good for you. Those go well inside smoothies as well. Okay. Very good. Right up. Don't want them to overcook. Amuse-bouche. Ever heard of that? Amuse-bouche. It's like a little thing that a chef would bring to your table to keep you waiting for the main course. So these have been washed. And you know, I'll just sit here and just grab a few and snack on them. Yeah, I do. And I love cherry tomatoes. Tomato cherry. That's how they say it here. Tomato cherry. It's tomate. That's what they say tomatoes. Tomate, not tomato. Tomato. Tomate. Ah, ¿quieres tomate cherry or tomate Roma? Roma tomatoes. Okay? Alright. Our salad is good. All we need to do is add a little bit of our dressing just to wet it. Okay? Always do this dressing and leave it in your fridge. So you always have it to moisten your salad with. Alright. How are we gonna plate these burgers? Okay. A ver. You need a flat plate, not the one with the deep center. No. All right. So now we're gonna bring our cauliflower mash, and then you spread it. Spread it, spread it, spread it. Ooh, yes. Oh, I get to play. Then you're gonna put a couple of those pretty burgers on. You could do a tower if you want. Do it like this, so like that, like Tabitha says, because remember, you're just going to be eating that, okay? And I wanted to save the, if you recall, the pepper mix. I saved some, so we're going to just kind of put it over here like that, so like that. So like that. Play with your food. Oh my. So like that. Put it right there. And make sure you always clean your plate. If you go to a restaurant and they bring you a plate and it's dirty, the chef has not cleaned it, don't go back. That means they're not interested in aesthetics. You know, today I was reading this morning, there's a Jamaican chef out of London who, it sounds like he committed suicide. And I tell you that this is an industry where we seem to see quite a bit, like Anthony Bourdain, some of them. And there is something about the industry that stresses these chefs out, so much. Or maybe it seems to attract a certain, because what happens is if you got a Michelin star, right, they recognize you as, somebody who's done well, and then they come and they christen your place as having one Michelin star. The problem you run into, or they run into, is the pressure to continue to be at that level. You're in the industry, you have colleagues, you have competitors, and they're looking at you. And I'm telling you, the food industry, having done it for 2 years, the margins are really small. You're dealing with a public that now, you know how they are. They'll come to your place, they'll say whatever they want, they go on Yelp and just destroy your reputation. So there is pressure. And when you're running a kitchen, unless you've done it, you don't know. You have to pay for inspection, you got to do the cleaner, you got to change the oil, you have equipment failures. It is a lot of pressure. And the way you make money is that you have to do a lot of covers. What we say covers are orders. So speed, and then you have the issue with staff, people not showing up, and people stealing from you. People would be walking around with a whole ham, you'll find a whole box of expensive wine behind the where we put the trash. They're just stealing you blind. I ended up putting a camera on top of the cash register. I mean, you cannot win. You have to have so many eyes watching, but it is a tough industry to be in. So here are your burgers on a cauliflower mash, and then a beautiful fresh salad, and then I topped it with a little bit of sofrito with the peppers. I'm only doing one to show you because time is of the essence. But look at that. Yeah, so you see, again, we're doing whole food, plant-based, meatless, and I guarantee you these burgers are the bomb, okay? And then it's not dry, right? Because you have the peppers, and then this mash is pretty nice. The consistency is not hard. So you can take out your fork, take a little bit of that, a little bit of, and amazing. All right? So when you're thinking of veggie burgers, so I'm gonna be, I have this whole thing, so I'm gonna finish it. And then this is what they come out looking. All right? So you can put it between your buns if you want. Sliced tomato, lettuce. If you want to put mayo, go ahead. If you want to put cheese, go ahead. But why would you put cheese on your veggie burgers? I don't know, but I'm not telling you what to do. But this is how I'm going to eat mine. I'm so happy when I get to play with my food. Thank you so much, ladies, for hanging with me. It's 12 o'clock and got to watch the game. Time to watch the game. And they have the pre-game, they do. I like the pre-game just as much. But look at that. I can't eat it yet because I need to take a picture. But let me taste one of the burgers. So my burgers, I'll have them with salad. I have some quinoa there. That is a no bueno, but I gotta finish it, right? So don't put a lot of oil in your pan because they're gonna suck it up, okay? Oh my gosh. So chickpeas, black bean, lentils, those are the beans. You like the way? Thank you. I cut it all off. When they say, how do you spell freedom? I said, no hair. You wake up in the morning, I don't know, I put mousse, but there is a Cantu daily moisturizer, oil or something. I still it in my hand and just, and that's it. So it's not so dry. À votre santé. Enjoy. of quinoa. I'm gonna put it in here and then finish that burger and call it a day. No, but I have to finish the rest of the burgers. I can't let it sit here. And then I'm gonna freeze them. Right? That way I'm gonna have burgers. You know, you don't want to eat them every single day. But at least you know you got something in your freezer that if you get hungry any time of the day, you pop one in the oven. You don't want to warm this up in the microwave. That wouldn't be good because it gets it softer, and that's not what you want, okay? So make sure that if you're going to warm it up, if you have an air fryer or you have like a toaster oven or something like that, that's what you put. That's where you put it to dry it up, to warm it up. All right, so there. And a little bit of salad, so like that. Like Tabitha says. And then go to work. That quinoa is so good. It's really hard to mess up quinoa. Really hard. So, meatless Sunday. Wow. It is so good. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. Have a beautiful day. You stop using microwaves. Yeah, I don't like using them either. Yeah. That's why, the air fryer, and I'm like, I'll use my oven. I don't know what that technology is, but I'm not comfortable with it. And then I hear them like, oh my God, I wouldn't know what to do with my air fryer. And I'm like, what? I like to use the stove. All right, guys. Au revoir. Bonne journée. Have a good day. Bye. Oh, my hand again. Hit the like button on your way out, por favor. Buenos dias, Maria. I'm catching you late. I did not receive. You know what? I don't understand. Did you check the bell again? You need to check the bell because the bell is a notification button to tell you when I come live. I don't know. YouTube is doing its thing. The videos are not being recommended. I don't know, and I don't really care. As long as I'm talking to you guys, the few of you who come, the rest of it, I leave it alone. All right. Have a good day. Bye.